So what's up? 50 Loon. I see you was already in here around 4 o'clock anyway, 4:30ish. I got a few things I want to talk about with everybody. A few. I gotta wrote down some bullet points for the show tonight, man. Because I want to try to keep my thoughts in order as much as possible. A lot of times I'll have something I want to talk about, but then I won't write it down and start talking, and then you forget everything. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it says two people are watching. I don't know if that includes me and one other or what. Let's see. All right, I want to talk a little bit about. I got a few things. So I want to talk about some results that I've been getting with eBay as far as using promoted and not using promoted and sales and all of that. Of course, I do want to go a little bit over the whole eBay third quarter results, and let's talk about this. What eBay got going on and what that might mean for us as sellers on the platform. It's not like it's the end of the world, right? It's not doom and gloom or nothing like that. FR, how you doing? Thank you for making it. I really, 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 really appreciate it for sure. Why don't y'all drop y'all mood in the chat, man? Me, I am feeling just peachy. Peachy. Let me know how y'all feeling in the chat. Let me know how y'all feeling. What's up, everybody? Appreciate everybody for coming in tonight. I know y'all got stuff to do, families and businesses to run, and a lot of balls to juggle for a lot of people. So anytime you can take time out of your day to sit with my crazy behind, I appreciate it. Now, before I get into the whole eBay results thing, because a lot of people done talked about that already. Backyard mowing, how you doing? How you doing? Nice to have you in tonight. Appreciate it. I don't know if any of y'all watched Josh Galt's live yesterday. Used book guy. I feel handsome right now. I bet you do. You're a handsome guy, man. Must be all the Amazon work you be putting in. You know what I'm saying? Maya, how you doing? Nice to have you tonight. So look, I'm gonna just get right into this real quick. So on eBay, right? So for 2 weeks, I purposely didn't list nothing, and this might go hand in hand with what some of the things that Josh was pointing out earlier in his live, and maybe just what some of us been dealing with. So I purposely didn't list nothing. So I was trying to do a couple of things. I was trying to see one. Now, and this is a small sample size, so it's hard to tell. And I was going to push it out to a month, but I got stuff that I do have to list, and I need to get it up. So I didn't list for 2 weeks, and I didn't run a sale. I think I might have ran a 5% sale last weekend, but during the week, no sale or nothing. But I increased my promoted. So I increased the promoted dynamic with a 10% cap. Okay. 10% cap. I want to show y'all something. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Because this is kind of weird. Let me see. Where is it at? All right. So that's right here, right? And you can see, I hope y'all can see this. Let me know if you can, but all the way across the line, and I did the 31 day because you see it's pretty even as far as promoted and organics go. But then I get this spike right here, even though I had started the higher promoted right before this. All right, this is on November 3rd. And I would have actually started that probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. But what I don't get is how you get this super high spike and then this super low drop, right? You got to spike up to 40,000 impressions and then it just drops back down to 25,000. And that's not because I lowered my promoteds at all. So I don't understand that part. However, having said that, here's what I noticed though. How you doing, Maya? Ping G, how you doing? Appreciate you coming tonight. Here's what I noticed though. So items that I hadn't been even getting. Look, I have been listing daily every single day for as long as I can remember. Okay, daily, never missed a day until the last 2 weeks. I have been running sales every week for as long as I can remember. There was items that I still wasn't getting traction on. I wasn't getting I was gonna say likes. I wasn't getting what you call it, views or watchers, right? I stopped doing the sales and I increased the promoted to 10% dynamic, right? 10% cap dynamic. A lot of the items that I actually was going to take some of these items down because I was just going to be like, all right, I'm going to just see either send these into Amazon or put them up on Walmart because ain't nothing happening here. I've been getting traction on those items. So they've either been selling. I actually just sold, I had a listing with 4 different, I had a quantity of 4 and it was a lot of 4. It was a certain like a shampoo. I had that up for the longest, right? Wouldn't get no traction, even with the coupons and stuff. And I had ran some nice sales. I just sold pretty much almost sold that particular listing out today. Somebody bought 3. But my point is, I've been getting watchers, I've been getting offers, and I've been getting sales on listings that have been seemingly stale, just sitting there for no good reason until I increased my promoted. Okay. And now these things been selling, and I haven't even listed. I got some drafts I've been working on, and starting tomorrow, I am going to start listing again. But up until now, almost 2 weeks, I haven't been listing anything. And I've been having more success with my items, even older items, by increasing my promoters than I have been listing every day and running sales. So I guess the question is then, is that whole, and this isn't to say you shouldn't list every day, but is the whole philosophy that everybody usually talks about listing every day and you know, getting sales that are, I guess you can say, commensurate with the amount of items that you list? Is that a thing, or does it even matter now? Does anything the way we used to do it even matter? I think it matters what type of items you sell, of course, as always, and it matters the sell through and all of that. But having said that, I think the algorithm has changed. And I'm not the first person to say this, of course, but I think, what's up, LAG or lag? I don't know if I would say it either way, but how you doing? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been the first person to say it, but in just this little short experiment, in the fact that items that I have not, it's been crickets, total crickets. Views been crap, no watchers, no offers. Soon as I increase my promoters with a 10% cap on the dynamics, don't run no sales, don't do nothing. I'm getting sales, I'm getting watchers, I'm getting offers. Even right now, if I look at my phone, right, on my phone, um, I got offers. I got a few sales, but I got offers, not offers. I got watchers on items right now. And there's about 6 watchers I got. These is on items that I know they sell because they sell in other platforms. I have not been getting any traction on these particular items. Some of them have already sold, some of them are multi quantities, and the watchers keep coming back. The offers are coming in. And so I think that at the end of the day, we're going to have to reevaluate our approach to eBay. And I know Josh was saying earlier about paying to play and just having to give in. I know some of y'all are really I guess is recalcitrant the word. I think that's the word. That's the word, right? You don't want to, you don't want to do it. But if you want to be successful, if that's going to be your platform, especially your main platform, there's some things that we got to reevaluate and reconsider if you want to gain sales on eBay, because I don't think it's just enough to have a good item anymore. I don't think that's just enough. I don't think that just that is enough. Unfortunately. So that's my little mini experiment on that. And as far as I'm concerned now, at this point, that's just pretty much what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just ride out with the 10% cap, dynamic promoted. maybe run sales on items that still might not get no traction. But over the last 2 weeks, I've been having more success just with a higher promoted listing and no sale, no nothing, nothing else at all. And items have been moving better. And I haven't, and I think the important thing is the fact that I haven't been listing. I think that's what I really wanted to see was what would happen if I wasn't listing. And like I said, I have been listing every day. I usually schedule out listings up to a month in advance. And once they ran out, I just stopped. And I wasn't really having that much success listing every day and running the coupons and sales. It just seemed like nothing was working until I stopped doing those things and increased my promoting. So you can take that for what you will, but I think there's something to that. News book guy, if eBay was my only platform, you, I know that's right. Shoot, you and a bunch of other people, bro. Yeah, and I guess that begs the question too. Not only should you start branching out to other platforms, which I think the answer is pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious because now we talking. I think the fee percentage in my category is going to be anywhere, I don't know, 9 to 10, 11%. So now if I'm riding on the cap with up to 10%, let's just say it's 10%. So now we're talking 20% ish fees. I mean, it's cheaper that a lot of FBA stuff I send in is cheaper than that. I ain't paying 20% on a lot of that when it comes to Amazon, and it'll sell a lot faster. So I mean, I'm not saying not to give up on eBay. All I'm saying is I think it's going to change the way you evaluate items, right? It has to. Ernie, what's up, man? Josh will eat bugs if they tell him he'll get them sales. I don't know if that man gonna eat no bugs, man. Bugs. Crickets. They say crickets are high in protein, so if you're gonna eat a bug, you eat a cricket. But so you usually go out and you look for items, and you say to yourself, all right, here the category fee price, and you can use what? The e-profit calculator, right? You can use that. Well, unfortunately, now you got to almost automatically factor in 20% minimum fees selling on eBay in your item. 20% minimum fees. 20%. And at this point, there probably is no reason to keep I guess complaining about it, right? Because what good is it going to do? Maya, it's weird because during the summer, let's read that up here. It's easier for me. It's weird because during the summer, I had all my items promoted and sales extremely slow on eBay. A few months ago, I started promoting the new items I listed. My sales are much better. Yeah, see? I don't know, man. It's been exactly the opposite for me. So I'm curious. And look, this is probably going to be a little different for everybody. However, I do think that in the long run, unless you're selling in a very niche type of category, you're selling very specific types of items, you're going to have to compete. And it's not to say you won't sell. And I know a lot of y'all sell clothes and y'all sell books or like in those types of categories that are traditionally slower, right? Slower sell through, stuff like that. More and more saturated by the day, probably. I think you really won't have a choice. Now, if you selling one-off vintage stuff, you really don't have to play that game. But if you ain't, you're gonna probably have to play the game. At 27, I hope you ain't promoting that 27%, man. That's pretty high. I think at a certain percentage, it doesn't matter. I know I was reading a comment, and I think this might have been on one of John's videos. And somebody was asking about like how high you got to promote and so on and so forth. 15% is kind of high. I think depending on what you're selling, especially if it's in the electronic category, and you may have to go that high somewhat. Maybe depends. All I'm saying is now it's going to be how long do you want to wait for a sale? Basically, how long do you want to wait for the sale? Me personally, I'm not interested in waiting. I am an avid proponent of not stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. I would rather get the damn dollar, right? I ain't going to do all this stuff and step over the dollar just so I can get the penny, so to speak. I think I said that right. Did I say that right? Right? Yeah. Step over $1, pick up a penny, man. I need to get rid of stuff, and that doesn't mean I'm going to like just give stuff away. But what that does mean is that I am more interested in some profit than sitting and having stuff just build up and having no profit, because every day that something sits on your shelf, that's cash flow that you could be using to continue to buy better items, to buy faster selling items, to buy to buy items with a higher average sale price. So I think it just depends on, what you're willing to do. I know a lot of sellers that are at 25%. I can believe that because I see it in the recommendeds. I see it in the recommended. So somebody got to be doing it. And so here's the thing. That percentage, as we see, and Josh had a good live about it. Y'all can check his live out. But let me see something. Do I got that? I was looking at this earlier. Let me see if I can find it first. All right. So see if y'all tell me what y'all think about this. And I know a lot of y'all probably already listen to the eBay stuff and all of that, but you see. If I can find it. There we go. All right. So this is from the eBay site, right? And I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is their financial highlights, Q3 2023. And they got this on their site. So if any of y'all want to go download it and look through it, you can. 18 billion in gross merchandise volume, 2.5 billion in revenue. It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. But let's see. Scroll down. Hey, y'all, look at these magical innovations. Create a listing, upload a photo, let AI write the rest, all done in seconds. What else can you ask for, huh? And pay 20% in promoted listings, or we're going to suppress your listing. Guaranteed. Magical innovations, huh? All right, let's see here. So here we go. 17.6 to 18 cent actuals, or 18, I say 18 cent, I'm chirping, to 18. Revenue 2.46 to 2.52 in billions. These are in billions. In non-GAAP, I do not know what that means. I'm not going to look it up. But what was I looking at earlier? All right. So look at this. You got Q2 2022, right? 13.1%. Then you got Q2 2023, 13.9%, right? It's up. You got Q3 2023, 13.9%. So it stayed even, but it's still up over Q3 2022. And now where we know that most of this revenue came from their ads, because if you look at this, look, you got their third-party ad revenue and their first-party ad revenue. In Q2 of 22, it was only 275 million, right? And in Q2 of 2023, it was 367 million. In Q3 of 2022, it was 290 million. And in Q3 this year, 366 million. So up 30% or 36 points, right? They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop, man. Not going to stop. So I ain't going to go through all that, but I just want to let y'all know that was out there. And I thought it was interesting reading through it to see exactly how they got their revenue, where it came from. And the fact that they made all this money off of promoted listings is something that I think that we can be sure is not only going to continue into the future, but also is going to influence how the markets roll on eBay, how sales go on eBay. Now, and that's going to have to change our traditional strategies I honestly don't think listing every day is going to matter as much. Where the algorithm was based on, I guess you could say it was more of like a meritocracy type of environment, right? Where the person who had the best listing, the best price, best item, and all that would merit being at the top of the search, right? But now it's not that way. It's not. It's paid to play, and if you pay, you get to be put in front of more eyeballs, and if you don't, you probably be suppressed at some point, unless you sell certain items in certain categories, of course. Maya, that's insane. I don't understand why people do that. It's like a promoted listing version of the rat race to the bottom, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Like at that point, just change what you're selling. The less profit you make, the more items you have to source and the more work you're putting in. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of people are going to have to do. I don't think that the ways that the things that we used to be able to sell and the things that used to just maybe even fly off the shelf probably won't. And not because they won't be desirable. They're going to be flying off the shelf for somebody. Believe that. They're just not going to fly off your shelf if you're not going to pay. That's what it is. It's not that these things won't sell. It's just that yours probably won't if you don't pay for placement. And Josh was saying this basically earlier in his live. He was tapping out. eBay got him in the chokehold. But look, eBay got us all in the chokehold, man. And I ain't even about to. I feel like this. My going forward in next year, my main focus is going to be the other two platforms that I've been on, which is Walmart and Amazon. But I need eBay still. eBay serves its purpose. And if I want to maximize my potential on eBay, then I have to play by the rules, which means making some changes myself in what I put up on that platform. Maybe some of the stuff that I used to put up, there was lower dollar items, either lot them up and do that, or don't. I might even start sourcing just totally different types of items. I don't even know yet exactly what I'm going to do about that. I have a general idea and I'm moving forward. I've been taking items down off of eBay. Starting next year, I still got like some CDs and some video games up. Whatever of those are not sold come January 1st, I'm taking them down. The video games will probably still sell on a lot. I'll probably just put those up on Marketplace. And the DVDs, I'm just going to throw those away. I don't even care. Once I've been selling some, that's another thing. I increased the promoters, and now a lot of that stuff, I haven't been getting no play on those. They've been selling. But whatever, and most of that stuff is pretty much free for me. I bought out some family videos a couple years ago, like 4 or 5 of them. And I've been made my money back on that and then some. So at this point, I'm just trying to get rid of as much as I can. And come January 1, whatever I got left, that's coming down. So I expect my store starting in the new year to be, it's at about 700 something items right now. That's going to increase because I got a bunch of stuff, but that's going to go down at least by another 300 to 400 items that I am just going to take down and get rid of a different way. And then I'm going to reinfuse my store and just make it to where I can pay the percentage and make it worth my while to, get the sales. What else you going to do? What else you going to do? Unless you don't want to sell. And I know for a lot of y'all either don't like Amazon or don't sell on it for various reasons, right? Some warranted, maybe some not. And then some of y'all probably can't get on Walmart at the time. So it's not feasible for you to revert to those other two platforms. So you don't have that out. The only thing I would say about that is if you got a SWOT plan that you look at, then that's something that you need to, as part of the threat to your business, you need to go out and you need to maybe start at least sourcing other items to put on different platforms. If you're not going to make the change and transition into what it's going to take in 2023 and forward to be successful on eBay, because going into 2024, what it took to be successful on eBay in the past is not going to work nowhere as well in the future, especially if they're going to ramp up what they've been doing. I guess then over these last 2 quarters, eBay has brought in what? almost 700 something million, sorry, not billion, over $700 million in ad revenue. $700 million. Just think about that. The shareholders, if eBay was to stop now, what you think gonna happen to that CEO? That's 300 something million per quarter simply off of ad revenue. They're not worried about the little guy complaining, y'all. That's what I was just thinking about earlier. They don't care about us complaining about how our sales is messed up. They don't care about us complaining about how this don't work no more, or flea bay or fee bay. Or they don't care. You know why? Because that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is them numbers. And them numbers is high. They didn't even go down. They went up. They went up. And so I think at some point, you're just gonna have to kind of gotta suck it up, man. Tap out, y'all. Tap out. Tap out. eBay doesn't give the magical innovations without some. Stay go. Stay broke. Oh my goodness. Hey, I got some Vaseline that I'm trying to sell if anybody need it. Ease the pain a little bit. Magical penetrations. Urethra. You're right though. You're right. It's good to see you. What's up, Flipping Goodies? Hey, I was checking out your channel, man. And got some good videos on there, buddy. If any of y'all ain't check out Flipping Goodies channel, check it out. Flipping Goodies right there. Got a lot of good info on there. He sells a lot of things. He also sells on eBay, Walmart, and Amazon. And he has some really good Walmart videos on there that are very useful for any of y'all who are on Walmart or who may be thinking about it. So check him out. So yeah, my thoughts are I gotta change what I think this is the burden of the entrepreneur, right? Is to always be able, in some ways we gotta be, we reactionary, but in some ways though, you gotta be proactive, right? I think the things that are happening on eBay are happening at a pace in which you don't really have to be reactionary. You can be proactive right now, but the longer you wait, the more you're going to put yourself behind. And then that strategy of being reactionary and changing when you got to and not when you want to, that might actually put you out of business if you don't start thinking ahead and planning ahead and getting ahead of getting ahead of the competition. Because the people who are serious about it, they're just going to suck it up and make change. I mean, let's just think about that. Me personally, I take things personal. I take things super personal. I mean, so even when I'm looking at my competition, like I take it personal if I feel like I'm not winning enough, right? I'm not getting enough sales. If I feel like I deserve it. But then I got to look at what are they doing that I'm not doing. And if they're selling things that I might not be selling, sometimes we feel like we don't want to spend the money. I know a lot of people get mad about Goodwill prices for those of you who thrift and all of that. But listen, Goodwill, it was never in agreement with resellers to be their source. Goodwill was never had a contract with us to be like, yeah, we'll keep our prices here so that you can make money. No, they don't care. They're in it to make money for them. So there's no reason in being mad at the Goodwills and the eBays and the thrifts. And these businesses are in business to survive for themselves. And that's the lesson that we need to take. We are in business to survive for ourselves. And so what does that take? I mean, for everybody, that's going to be different, right? But you need to sit down as an individual and maybe have like one of those come to Jesus moments, if you're struggling, that is, and think like, man, if this ain't working, what do I need to do? And if you feel like it ain't something you want to do, then don't do it. You can go do a lot of other things. But I'm serious about it. So I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be dissuaded or nothing like that. If this is what it is, then I'm cool with it. It ain't a big deal. It's annoying, but eBay don't owe me nothing. Goodwill don't owe me nothing. Don't nobody owe me nothing. That's how I look at it. Nobody don't owe me nothing. And in fact, I don't want them to give me anything. I'll just go out and get it. And if they change the rules in the middle of the game, all right, you're right. We just play by these rules now, right? We just play by these rules. Cause guess what? The next man or woman, that's how they gonna look at it. You right? Yeah, it sucks, but this how we do it. And if they want more money, we're gonna give them more money. We're just gonna source more items. We're gonna source better items. We're gonna source items with higher average sell price. Or you know what? I ain't dealing with this. I'm gonna move to a different platform. I'm gonna go to Amazon. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna do this in a different video, but there's a couple videos about what Amazon has been doing and how they are setting up these fulfillment centers to be able to deliver items within like hours. They got about, I want to say 8 of them right now, and they're continuing to do it because they're trying to take back that little bit of that I don't even think it's a little bit, but that market share that Walmart got, because Walmart uses its stores as fulfillment centers so they can do that same day. And so Amazon is trying to basically catch up and overtake that, since they were actually, the ones who started the whole 2-day delivery, get it there as soon as you order, it's at your doorstep thing. But I think that also offers a lot of opportunity to sellers to be able to make some money online, man. Things like this with these platforms, we got to know what's going on, because these are, to me, innovations. Because the more people you can get to, the larger your customer base. The larger your customer base, the more traffic is going to flow through the site, which means the more chances I have to make a sale. Well, eBay is not innovating in that way. And these are not magical innovations if all you're doing is making more money off your sellers. Amazon and them are doing things to bring in more customers, focused on how can they make the experience better for the buyer. That's not to say they don't care about the sellers, which they kind of don't, but I would rather that they do things that's going to bring in more buyers, like, hey, 1 day, same day delivery, things like that. Let's get more opportunities out to these more rural areas and bring in those customers. That's just more and more to the already billions that they got. Well, I would say that would be my biggest issue with eBay is, and Josh said that Jamie Iannone said that he's not worried about bringing in buyers. Well, that's a huge red flag as far as I'm concerned, because what does that mean, right? Why wouldn't you be trying to bring in more buyers? Why wouldn't you? And and just thinking about how they promote the eBay website, the eBay Motors, the watches, shoes, right? Well, if that's who they're promoting to the most, then that's going to be the majority of traffic, you would think, right? So if that's the majority, what's the chances that a lot of that traffic is looking for some of the things that we sell? I mean, some might see, but not really, right? So that's going to cut down your chances even more, depending on what you're selling, if their focus isn't going to be the type of traffic. See, Amazon and Walmart and them, they don't care if you're selling cheaper items. Hell, Amazon will hop on a listing of a cheap item and sell it 1 billion times, right? And make 20 cents off of it or whatever. I'm just saying, but like, they're not suppressing listings for not paying or because it doesn't sell for enough, which of course we have no proof of this, but I'm convinced eBay is doing it. Convinced eBay is doing it, man. But what can you do? I read this. Eventually, the race to the top in promoted listings, and at the same time, race to the bottom in price. Plenty of sellers will have to bow out. Now, I would say this. Let me read this second comment first. Therefore, how will eBay continue to make money off promoted listing when sellers are priced out? I'll say this. I don't think sellers will have to bow out. I think they will choose to bow out. You can choose to give in and give up, or you can choose to adjust and adapt. I just put it that way. I don't think you'll have to bow out. Now, if you're going to be the casual seller or the person who's just trying to make a couple of dollars off of the stuff you got in your garage, it really won't matter much, right? You just want to make a few bucks and you probably won't sell on eBay again. Casual seller is here and there. So it's like you really don't, it's sold today. If you don't get it sell, it's whatever, right? But for those of us, I did a poll. And on my poll, let me look it up real quick so I don't get these numbers wrong. On my poll, so I asked, what's the main reason that you resell? Okay. There were 35 votes, right? 49%. Okay. And the option were full-time income, to get out of debt, retirement income, and extra spending money. Right? I don't know if you can see that. So 49% said full-time income, 14% said to get out of debt, 11% retirement, and 26% extra spending money. Okay. Now, for those 26%, it really won't matter as much, these changes, right? They just want some extra money. And they're like, when it sell, it would suck to wait longer. But if I was just trying to get some extra money, I probably wouldn't play the promoted game. I would list my item, make sure it's at a good price, and when it's sold, it's sold. For those who are trying to get out of debt and retirement and contribute to their retirement, right? 14% trying to get out of debt and 11% retirement income. That might be a little more serious, but it's not really as serious. The ones it's serious for is that 49%, right? For those of us that this is a full-time income, okay? That's who it's more serious for. So 49% of us are saying, and yes, I did vote on my own thing. So of those 35, I'm one. Of those 49%, all of us are dependent upon reselling as a full-time income. Not necessarily eBay. It's a big distinction, right? Now, if reselling, if we're dependent on that as our full-time income, as our main source, it doesn't mean that's your only source, but as your main source, then that means that you have to be willing to make the changes and adjustments. And I'm going to assume that for those of us who have it as a full-time income, we also have goals of getting out of debt, because most of us probably have some sort of debt. It could be a car note, whatever, credit cards, and retirement. So there's a lot that goes under that umbrella. And so that poll just kind of highlighted a lot of things for me that I think that a lot of people, the reason why you hear so much noise about the changes and the issues is because of two things: fear, and I don't want to say necessarily desperation, but maybe some people get into that if it's their full-time income. Fear that they won't know how to adjust, can't adjust, or whatever. I'm not even going to say can't, because there's always a way, but that they maybe don't know how to go about making the change to bring their business back, to a place where it's healthy. And just that desperation where the money is going out faster than it's coming in, and you don't know what to do, right? You don't know what to do. So I would say this: my advice to anybody who's in either of those categories is to take your time, take a deep breath, and sit down and write. What you're going to write is you're going to write out what's working, and you're going to write out what's not working. And what's working, you're going to see how you can push that forward and make it better and take more advantage. And what's not working, you're going to ask yourself why it's not working and what changes you can make to fix it. And then just take action. The difference between the people who do quit and the people who don't is going to be the ones that do something similar to that in whatever form you choose to do it, and that actually take action and do it. That's it. You don't have to quit. You don't have to give up. There's a way. Trust me, there's a way. But it might not be easy. And it might take you learning a whole new niche or, a whole new platform. But if you're willing to put the work in, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Knitix, working hardly. I'm switching over to handmade luxury hats and scarves, taking advantage of the Rolex shopper. There you go. There you go. You got to be creative, man. See, that's the good thing about reselling is that the question was about reselling, full-time income, not eBay selling, right? Not clothes selling, not shoes selling, reselling. How much stuff out there can you resell? How many platforms can you sell it on? You are only limited by your mind. You are only limited by your desire and your will and your drive and your ability to just kind of think outside the box. Ask questions, right? See what other people's doing. Don't be afraid to steal stuff from people. As far I mean, like physically steal, but like ideas, right? What? Hey, man, that's business, right? You see somebody doing something that's working, you do the same thing until it ain't. But you got to do something. Before I forget, I do want to go over an email I got from Pirate Ship. Let me see if there's any other messages real quick. All right, so Pirate Ship sent me this message. About priority. Some of y'all may know this, some of y'all may not. But if you don't know this, you may want to change your shipping prices. If you don't do free shipping, or even if you do, there's still some things you might want to change. So let's go look at this real quick. All right, so this is from Pirate Ship. It says USPS is increasing some rates on November 18th. While the Postal Service is not adding any holiday surcharges, they are increasing priority mail rates everywhere you can buy postage online. So it says flat rate is increasing up to 6% because USPS is removing this service from the Connect e-commerce program that provides deeper discounts. So the rates are returning to the commercial pricing levels. That's something that I did not know, actually. Weight-based priority mail is increasing up to 10% in zones 1 through 4, but it'll still have discounts that are cheaper than commercial. So that's a decent amount, right? For every, what, $10 is an extra dollar. Dimension-based priority mail cubic is increasing up to 23% in zones 1 through 4 for tiers 0.4 and 0.5. So the largest package sizes for this service are getting more expensive in the lowest zones, but the rates are still cheaper than commercial pricing. And then it says ground advantage is decreasing up to 16% in zones 1 through 5, depending on the size and weight. So I guess the good news is that even though the priority is going up, you can kind of use ground advantage to offset that. Now, if y'all don't know what a zone is, I looked it up for you. A zone, basically, the zones are based on how far away your package is going. So, for instance, says USPS zones are frequently misunderstood as being defined by some geographical area. USPS zones are actually defined by the distance a package must travel from its point of origin. Therefore, USPS zones will be specific to your business and its distance from each of your customers. Zones range from 1, a destination within 50 miles, to 9, a destination far away from your business. And if you look at the chart, it'll say, and I hope y'all can see this part. So right there, zone 1 is within 50 miles. Zone 2 is 51 to 150 miles. Zone 3 is 151 to 300, so on and so forth. So basically, when you go back to the email on Pirate Ship, they basically saying the closer a package is going, the more it's going to cost you, which, and if it's heavier, which that kind of sucks, I would feel like, but I guess it already costs enough to go further away, right? So they're going to be raising the prices on the packages that are closer. So for all of y'all who do flat rate on eBay, or you do calculated, you're going to want to keep your eye on that, the 18th. So you got 10 more days before that actually changes and those prices go up. So you're going to want to look at that, because if you don't calculate it, who knows how that's going to come out for your customer. So it may be better just to go ahead and do a flat rate, because heck, in a lot of those instances, you can just use Ground Advantage and still make a few bucks off of shipping, but still be able to give the customer a discount. You know what I mean? Ernie, how you doing? A few of the full-time resellers in my area are having yard sales to bring in that income. Yard sales, um, Josh was talking earlier about eBay going to streaming. And, I thought personally about doing Whatnot and things like that. I ain't got the time for that right now. But it's always an option. J Rod, what's up, my man? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Make sure y'all check out J Rod. That man everywhere. If you on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. He's everywhere. That's why he got so many subs. He's everywhere. He's putting himself out there, man. Which ain't nothing wrong with that, man. And he got some solid content. So check him out. There's a lot of good content these days, I think, man, as far as reselling goes. Like, it ain't just like in the beginning, it was just a lot of Arena Vision like to call it dragon brag. Dragon brag, right? Ain't nothing wrong with showing people what's sold, but there's definitely some dragon brags out there. But there's some good solid content out there that's going to actually help you. So like, even what we talking about now, what eBay is going through and the changes on that platform and what's going to be happening on other platforms. Look, it's not all doom and gloom. And channels like J Rod, Josh, John, Flipping Ain't Easy, Mines, who else, man? Dixon, and a few others. I'm sorry if I forget anybody, but I don't watch everybody for one. And Flipping Goodies, and Arena Vision, and them. Like, good, solid advice when it comes to, and there's a mix. It's such a mix. So it's not just eBay. It's not just Amazon. It's eBay. It's Amazon. It's Walmart. There's some Poshmark in there, right? And there's a mix of items, right? You got the people who do the yard sales, and Josh does estate sales and things like that. Like, I do a totally different thing than all of them, right? I don't thrift. I don't do any of that. So like, I do mostly health and beauty, electronics, home goods. So the information is out there, right? The information is out there, and each of these guys, each of these channels give you a good amount of knowledge on how to be successful. I think at the end of the day, though, people have to stop thinking about what it's going to cost as far as money and think about what you can make. Forget about, and I don't mean like forget about what it costs as far as knowing your fees and things like that, but don't let the cost of selling discourage you from selling. If you know the cost and you know what it's going to cost, then you know what type of items you got to sell to make it work. And guess what? That's like organic in a way that, and what I mean by that is like, it's not going to be static. It ain't going to be, I can sell this item on this platform and it'll always be like this. I'll always make this. That's going to continue to change, right? It's going to morph over time. It may look like this one day and look like that the next day. But you, as a seller, have to be in tune with these things and know, because I feel like once you get a base knowledge of everything, yes, J Rod, knowledge is power. Knowledge is the only power that you need, because with the knowledge, doesn't matter that eBay is going to be doing promoters and that they change the algorithm to basically put those out there who are going to promote and those who don't want to or who want to do the minimum. Here's the thing. They're like, if you want to pay us the minimum, we're going to give you the minimum amount of exposure, right? So unless your items are in a niche where there's not a lot of comp, we're not going to do it. But if you pay, then we'll give you more. Now, that doesn't mean your items will sell, but hey, listen, man. If it wasn't fourth quarter, I would push out this whole not listing thing for another 2 or 3 weeks. I would like to go 4 to 6 weeks without listing any new items, only selling the items I got, at a higher promoted, like what I'm doing now, and continue to see how that fares, and then go and back to listen every day and see how that, because I'm telling you, I wasn't getting no traction. But I know that ain't everybody's case and situation. I'm just saying, there's something to that. I agree. There's a ton of great information out there. Lots of bad info too. Yeah, it's a lot of bad info. But I mean, you know, look, at the end of the day, you're not gonna get rich overnight. This does require a lot of work and effort. And more important than what you're selling is the knowledge that you have behind what you're selling. Um, you can have an item, this phone, somebody can list. They might not even get a view. And when they do sell it, maybe this is a $500 phone. They might get 199, 200. Another person lists it, and they might get the whole five. Same condition, same everything. The difference is the knowledge behind the person who got the five as opposed to the person who got the two, right? Not just to promote it, whether the other person who got the five might not even promote it. But, what you know, man. It's what you know. Use book guy Mike. I personally know people selling books on eBay pushing 30% promote. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy. So if they pushing 30%, that is ridiculous. Let me see something. Who knows what the selling fee is for books on eBay? The 10%. Let me see. So if I'm looking at this right, final value fee for books and magazines is 14.95% on total amount of the sale up to 7,500. What? 14.95% final value fee on books. So Mike, if you write about that, what's that? 34, basically 35% off the rip? 35% off the rip. If you doing a 30% final value or 30% promoted and they and paying the final value. That ain't even including shipping. Even if you charge for shipping, that ain't that's part of the fee, I think, right? That's crazy. I will have to change. Now I know what's his name? Johnny, right, Mike? Johnny, he got a big enough business that he could probably I could see him being one of the people doing 30%. But he got a big enough business. But see, people don't know that um like he went from eBay, now he's doing some Amazon too. So he ain't just stuck on eBay. He branched out. So I think that's important. J Rod, 35% plus 30 cents. R.I. Pizzle. I know that's right. That's crazy. And then 45 plus 30 cents. That's ridiculous, man. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't sell that stuff personally. And it doesn't even sell fast enough as far as I'm concerned. You gotta have, and this ain't to, knock anybody doing books, but that's one of those categories. If you're not going to have a really big store, you probably won't survive long. Unless you are very, very selective on the types of books that you list, on the types. But if I did sell mostly books, I'd be with you, Mike, and on Amazon, because I couldn't sit around and deal with that. And I don't. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't pay that much in books, fees in books on Amazon, do you? Look at it this way: Amazon Media is basically a 50 here. Let me see, 50. Okay, do you 50-50 split? Treat eBay the same. Yeah, jeez, media is crazy. Amazon Media is basically a 50-50 split. eBay the same way, but the sales price is lower. So selection. It's all about either selection or just sheer volume, right? selection. I don't know. I think for in that category, I would rather do the 50-50 with Amazon because it would most likely sell faster if I'm putting the right types of items up. That's where I would build that business at. So I think people need to realize what you want to sell, and depending on what you want to sell, eBay might not be the platform, or it might not be the only way to do it. I mean, look at the transition that clothing took over these last few months from sellers who didn't believe in the philosophy of cross posting and things like that, and never really messed with idle platforms like Poshmark, to now cross posting is an integral part of their business. It has carried them through some tough times, and it's probably going to be with them now throughout the duration of their business. Why? Because they were kind of forced into that, right? Because of what's happening on eBay. 5,000 in sales on Amazon Media, you take home 25 before buy costs. But if you can get that back, just like that, I would be okay with that. That's why I don't mind. That's why going forward, I was going to wait till next year, but I'm doing the majority FBA as far as my Amazon sales go from now on, because I just calculated that the faster flip is what I need, and to get where I need to be is not. I can't do it by myself, and I don't want to do it by myself because I'm tired of shipping like hundreds of orders all the damn time by myself. That's kind of starting to burn me out. So, but I am okay with little profit if it flips fast enough. I don't think people understand the power of the flip, man. You want to wait for a couple months or so to make, you might get 20, 30, 40, $50 profit. I'll take $5, $10 profit if it's going to sell in a week or less. Excuse me. I'll take a couple dollars profit if it's going to sell in a week or less, and I'm selling hundreds and hundreds of units, because I'm going to get that money back. I'm going to reallocate it to more inventory, and I'm going to do that multiple times before you ever sell your one item. And so, me personally, and y'all tell me what y'all think, if y'all agree or y'all disagree. I think that the fast flip, depending on your goals, of course, I think the fast flip in this business, in reselling, I think it is superior and allows you more flexibility, and it gives you more options than the, waiting out for the higher profit model. Not saying you can't be successful with that, but I do think that someone with lower margins who flips faster can overtake you and have more success because they have more cash flow, and the cash is coming back faster. They can reallocate faster while you still sitting there waiting on certain items to sell. And that's why I like selling the types of items I sell. That's just one of the reasons I don't like selling other stuff like clothes and things like that. But that's just me and my preference, of course. 100% turn and burn, baby. Yeah, seriously, man. I got flames I should get flames like on my logo. Turn and burn. But no, I feel like that works better. So let me see. I think that's kind of everything I wanted to go over. And we coming up on the 1 hour mark. But listen, y'all. Again, I want to remind y'all, priority rates are going up on the 18th. Don't forget that. It's going to cost more to ship heavier items close to you. Basically, okay. And what they said was that they're doing away with. Did it say USPS is removing flat rate? Oh no, they're removing the discounts. It says so the rates are returning to the commercial. So I don't know if we're going to have discounted rates on flat rates, I guess. But either way, all priority mail prices are increasing on the 18th, guys. So you might want to check all your shipping prices on your platforms, especially eBay if you're doing calculated. Shouldn't be that big a deal. It might just take longer for the customer but ground advantage should more than compensate for whatever increase, you know. Also, as far as the 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 new info that we got, there ain't nothing new about eBay. I think a lot of people wanted eBay to be failing, but eBay's not failing. eBay's actually growing. I guess it's almost inconsequential how, but I think the lesson, the takeaway, if there's any good, I'm an optimist. I like to look at things in a positive manner. If there's anything good that we can take away from eBay, from what I take away is that as a business owner, whether it's the CEO of a large company like eBay or whether it's you in your garage, only thing that matters is what you do to make your business grow. That CEO is not concerned about what, I ain't going to say he don't care how your business is affected, but he don't care how your business is affected. All he cares about is increasing revenue. What can he do to grow revenue month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year, make his shareholders happy, period, point blank. And if that has a negative effect on you, they don't care. And so I'm only saying that to say, what you got to be selfish about what you do. Stop worrying about if it's going to cost you more and promote it. And if you got to pay up for better items, just do it. If you want to stay in business, just do it. It's out there. There's a lot of people doing it. A lot of people doing it, man. So it's not the end of the world. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not about to keep on worrying about it. I already increased my promoteds, increased it. I've already increased my promoteds, and I'm just going to kind of ride out right there. And if I don't need to run a sale, if I can see enough traction and action on my account without running any sales, I'm not. If a person sent an offer, and if it's the right offer, I've been getting offers. Some of them I accept, some of them I don't. But I haven't had to run a sale in 2 weeks. I haven't had to do a markdown in 2 weeks. And as long as I can get that type of action with just the promoters, I will. But if I need to run a sale here and there, I'll do that too. But I am just going to change the type of items that I sell and put up and just be more thoughtful. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what they do. It's about what you do, right? That's it. So having said that, guys, I am going to get on up out of here. So true, right? Let me go through these last couple. Resellers have the highest ROI. You can't afford promoted. You'll be bankrupt soon enough anyway. No, that's true. That's true. If you can't afford to play the promoted game, then you are going to be in trouble. Period, point blank. If your margins depend that much, if you can't do at least a 10%, then you need to, and if you can't do 10% and you ain't willing to change and you ain't getting no better items and you still struggling with sales, you might as well just pack it in. Pack it in, man. Pack it in. Donate your items and just go get a job and save yourself the stress. But I feel like a lot of y'all out there are like me, very competitive. You're not quitters and you're problem solvers, and you're going to want to figure out how to make it work, whether it's for a full-time member. 49% of us doing this full-time, we said. Out of 35 people to answer, 49% full-time. You can't afford to quit. You can't afford to give up. You got to make it happen, man. So look, I'm going to get on up out of here. Thanks, J-Rod. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. I'll see y'all next Wednesday, and y'all have a good night.